Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about some basic driving knowledge that you should know. In this video, I'll be going over some simple facts and some simple things that you should know as a driver about driving and about your car. Now let's get right to it. Now, with a lot of these things, I'll be generalizing them because the majority of cars will fall into these categories. So if your car doesn't fall into one of these categories or something like that, then I understand there are exceptions. But most of the cars that I have seen and I have driven fall into these categories, so I'll be using them. Okay, so first and foremost, mirrors I want to talk about. You have 3 mirrors in your car. Now, like I said, there are cars that only have 2 mirrors, but most cars have 3 mirrors. There should be a rear view mirror over here. There should also be 2 side mirrors, one on each side of your car. Now, the mirror, the rear view mirror right here, should be adjusted so that it allows you to see right out the rear windshield. It allows you to basically have eyes at the back of your head. The 2 side mirrors should be adjusted so that they allow you to see down the side of your car and sort of towards behind your car, down the sides behind your car. Now, with the side mirrors, I always recommend leaving a little bit on the inside of the side mirrors so that you can see a part of your car, because that gives you some perspective, okay? And then the rest of it should be just focused down the side, and you want to adjust your mirrors so that when you're actually seated, you can see throughout your mirrors just like that. You don't want to have to move around to see properly throughout your mirrors. You want to adjust them so that you can see just like that. The next thing, hand placement on the steering wheel. Now, there are many ways that you can place your hand on the steering wheel, okay? I recommend the 10 and 2 position, which is, if this is a clock, 12 o'clock's right here in the top center. You have 2 o'clock to the right over here and 10 o'clock to the left, okay? Now, people use this steering method, this hand positioning. People also use 9 and 3, if you can imagine a clock. Some people hold the steering wheel towards the bottom over here, sort of at like the 4 o'clock, you know, the 4 o'clock and the 7 o'clock, give or take. The 4 o'clock, I'm sorry, the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock, give or take. But it all depends on whatever floats your boat, whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and what's commonly accepted where you live. So make sure that if you're going to take your driving test, you find out if the examiners are going to be allowing you to just place your hands wherever you want, or if you need to have them at, let's say, 10 and 2 or 9 and 3 or whatever the case is, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is steering. Now, your steering should be smooth and it should be safe. Now, with regards to steering, there are many different ways to turn the wheel. You can use hand-over-hand steering like this, okay? You can use push-pull steering like this, and I'm not going to go over each of them because I've done many video tutorials and I want to try and keep this video as clear and concise, short and sweet as possible. So I'm just going to tell you the different methods. You can do one-handed palming steering like this, okay? Just like that. You know, there are so many different ways to maneuver a car, but you have to figure out which steering method works best for you. The next thing I want to talk about, acceleration. Now, acceleration should be smooth. If you're driving a manual car, you want to keep practicing until your acceleration and you're starting in first gear and accelerating throughout the rest is super smooth. You have to make sure that you're smooth, especially before you go on the driving test. You got to keep practicing. With acceleration, practice makes perfect. So your acceleration should be smooth. A good rule of thumb when I'm talking about an automatic car is that instead of just mashing the gas pedal down, you want to basically ease into it. So let's say that this is the resting position of the gas pedal and I wanted to push it up to here, okay? About a 45-degree angle, let's say. So instead of just going like that, I would go like this. You want to ease into it. That'll give you a nice smooth acceleration. You don't want people to be thrown around, especially on your driving test. You don't want to do that. You don't want, you know, the driving examiner to say, hey, look, I have 300 horsepower. Feel this power. You don't want to do that. You want it to be smooth. So with that being said, ease into it. And when you're driving a manual car, you want to keep perfecting that gas clutch balance until you're like smooth, super smooth. The next piece of basic driving knowledge that I want to talk to you about is maintenance. It's important to maintain a car. I would recommend checking out your owner's manual for the car and also taking a look online at the various resources for maintaining a car. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to actually miss an oil change, let's say, and then you experience a problem. And you might save a little bit of money on the oil change, but then you're experiencing a much greater problem. So with that being said, I would recommend looking up the maintenance for your car and for cars in general. Make sure that you're changing the fluids as necessary. Make sure that you're topping them up as necessary. Just make sure that you are maintaining your car or the car that you're driving for the test, because it will definitely save you money in the long run. Spending that little bit of extra extra money on maintenance will save you from huge repair costs, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is drive and reverse. Now, this is very simple. In an automatic car, you mainly have two driving gears that you'll use. One is drive and the other one is reverse. Driving will make you move forward, reverse will make you go backwards, okay? In a manual car, you're gonna have your reverse gear, and then you're gonna have a number of forward gears. So you might have reverse, and then you might have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and maybe even sixth, okay? So with that being said, very simple and straightforward. One thing that I want to talk to you about with regards to drive and reverse is steering while going forwards or backwards. So this is the easiest way that I explain it for steering, okay? When you're in a car and you want to steer left when you're going forward, you steer to the left. If you want the back end of your car to go to the left, in reverse, you steer to the left. Very simple. So if I'm steering to the left right now, the front of my car would go to the left if I was in drive. The back of my car would go to the left if I was in reverse. The same thing goes with right. If I was steering to the right now, the front of my car would go to the right if I was in drive. The back of my car would go to the right if I was in reverse. It's as simple as that. Gears is the next thing that I want to talk to you about. Now there are, like I said, in an automatic car and a manual car, there are many gears, but in a manual car, you are usually required to select the gears, whereas in an automatic car, most of the time, the transmission will select all the gears for you. Now here's how gears work, okay, very simply. You're gonna, as you're going faster, you're going to be shifting up. So you're gonna start in first, and as you gain speed, you're gonna go to second. As you gain more speed, third, fourth, fifth, potentially sixth, and so forth. Now with gears, lower gears have more acceleration, but less maximum speed. Higher gears have less acceleration, but more maximum speed. So let's say you're starting in first. First gear, you're driving. You have your maximum acceleration in first gear, but you can only go up to a low speed. So when you reach that speed or close to it, you shift to second gear. Second gear allows you to continue increasing your speed, but you lose a little bit of acceleration. Then you go to third gear. You can continue going faster with regards to your speedometer, but you lose some more acceleration. So that's the easiest way to think about it. It's the easiest way to understand the basics of gearing, okay? The next thing, levers. By the side of your steering wheel, you are most likely going to have a few levers. On the left here, you have your turn signal lever. Just like that, you push it down, signal to the left, you push it up, signal to the right. Very simple. You're also most likely going to have some sort of headlight control over here on the left lever. Not in all cars, but in most cars. On the right, you're going to most likely have some sort of windshield wiper control, and maybe even on some cars, you're going to have some sort of cruise control lever over there. So I can turn on the windshield wipers just like that. Just very simply, I can actually spray some windshield wiper fluid just like that. You have controls with the levers beside your steering wheel. Last but not least, safety. Basic driving knowledge, safety is important. You want to make sure that you're being safe as possible when you're on the road. It's as simple as that. Do your safety checks, use your signals, check your blind spots, check your mirrors, do all of your safety checks, and safety should be your main concern while driving. And that's basically it. In this video, I have told you about some basic driving knowledge that you should know. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.